Welcome back to Money Mastery Now, the channel that helps you take control of your money, one smart habit at a time. If you want to master your budget, crush debt, and build lasting wealth, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. I want you to think about the last 5 purchases you made. Just quickly, in your head. Maybe one was your morning coffee. Another was some groceries. Maybe you bought something on Amazon or paid a bill online. Now, for each of those purchases, I want you to ask yourself a question. Did you use physical cash? If you're like most of us living in 2025, the answer is probably no for almost all of them. We live in a world of effortless, invisible transactions. We tap our phones. We tap our watches. We tap a piece of plastic. We click a single button that says buy now on a website where our payment information is already conveniently saved for us. The transfer of our hard-earned money has become a silent, frictionless, almost imaginary event. Money doesn't feel real anymore. It's just a number on a screen. And because it doesn't feel real, because there is no physical sensation of loss, it has become incredibly easy to overspend. That small, painless tap of your phone for a $7 latte doesn't feel like anything in the moment. It's just a convenience. But then, at the end of the month, the credit card bill arrives. You look at the long list of transactions, and it feels like you're reading a stranger's shopping list. You see hundreds of dollars spent on those small, meaningless taps, and you have that familiar, sinking feeling in your stomach. Where did all my money go? But what if the cure for this very modern, very digital problem was a surprisingly old-school solution? What if the answer wasn't a new app or a complicated spreadsheet, but something much more tangible and physical? For decades, long before smartphones and credit cards dominated our lives, people swore by a simple, powerful, and almost foolproof method to get control of their spending. It's called the cash envelope system. But that leads us to the big, central question we are going to explore and answer today. In the year 2025, a world of online shopping, Apple Pay, food delivery apps, and increasingly cashless businesses. Does this analog, old-school method actually still work? Or is it just an outdated, nostalgic relic that isn't practical for our modern lives? In this video, we are going to put this classic system to the ultimate test. First, for those who are new to it, we'll do a quick refresher on what the classic cash envelope system is and how it works. Then, we are going to dive deep into the fascinating psychology of why this seemingly dumb system is actually so incredibly smart, and why it's so effective at curbing overspending. After that, we will honestly and directly confront the major challenges and problems of trying to use cash in our digital world. And finally, and most importantly, I am going to show you how you can adapt this system for your modern life. I'll show you hybrid and digital envelope methods that give you the same powerful psychological control without forcing you to give up the conveniences of 2025. So, can this old dog learn new tricks? Let's find out. Let's start with the absolute basics. For those of you who might have heard the term but aren't exactly sure how it works, let's do a quick refresher on the classic method. What is the cash envelope system? The concept is beautifully, elegantly simple. At the beginning of your pay period, whether that's every 2 weeks or once a month, you sit down with your budget. You look at all the spending categories where you have a tendency to overspend. This system is not designed for your fixed bills. You are not going to be paying your mortgage or your car payment with cash. This system is designed to control your variable expense categories. These are the parts of your budget that fluctuate each month and where your habits and impulses can get you into trouble. We're talking about categories like groceries, gas for your car, restaurants and eating out, entertainment like going to the movies, personal shopping for things like clothes, and your fun money or blow money category. Once you've decided how much you want to spend in each of these categories for the pay period, the next step is a trip to the bank or an ATM. You will withdraw the total amount of money you need for all of those categories in cash. Then, you get a set of plain white envelopes. You take a pen, and you label each envelope with the name of one of your spending categories. For example, you might have one envelope labeled groceries, another one labeled gas, another one labeled restaurants, and another one labeled fun money. You then take the cash you withdrew, and you stuff the envelopes with the exact amount you budgeted for each one. So, if you budgeted $400 for groceries for the next 2 weeks, you put $400 in cash into the groceries envelope. If you budgeted $100 for restaurants, you put a $100 bill in the restaurants envelope. Now, your system is set up. The rule for the rest of the month is dead simple. When you go to the grocery store, you pay using only the cash from your groceries envelope. When you go out to eat, you pay using only the cash from your restaurant's envelope. And here is the most important rule. When the cash in an envelope is empty, you are done spending in that category until your next payday. Period. There are no exceptions. It is a self-imposed, hard, physical limit on your spending. That's the entire classic system. It's simple. It's tangible. And as we're about to see, it's psychologically brilliant. So, why does this seemingly dumb, low-tech system work so incredibly well? Why has it been a cornerstone of personal finance advice for generations? The magic of this system is not in the envelopes or the cash itself. The magic is in the psychology. It leverages some fundamental principles of how our brains are wired to trick us into being more mindful and intentional with our money. The first and most powerful reason this system works is that it makes spending tangible and, more importantly, painful. There have been numerous scientific studies that have proven a concept called the pain of paying. What these studies show is that, neurologically, the act of handing over physical cash activates the same pain centers in our brain as a physical injury, like a small paper cut. It literally hurts a little bit to see your money physically leave your hand and disappear into a cash register. Now, think about the way we spend money today. Swiping a piece of plastic, tapping your phone, or clicking a button online does not trigger this same pain response. It's too abstract. It's too clean and frictionless. A credit card feels like a magic wand that just gets you what you want. The cash envelope system brings that healthy, natural pain back into the transaction. When you are standing in line at a restaurant and you're thinking about ordering an expensive dessert, the abstract idea of spending another $10 on your credit card doesn't feel like much. But the thought of having to pull out your restaurant's envelope, see that you only have one $20 bill left inside, and physically hand it over to the waiter, that feels very, very real. It makes you think twice. That small moment of friction, that small pang of pain, is often all it takes to get you to make a more conscious, deliberate decision. The second psychological reason this is so effective is that it creates hard, unbreakable boundaries. A credit card is a tool of almost infinite possibility. Even if you're trying to stick to a budget, you know in the back of your mind that you have a credit limit of several $1,000s. It's easy to overspend because there is no immediate, tangible consequence. You can always tell yourself, "Oh, I'll just pay it off later." An empty envelope, on the other hand, is a very real, very clear, and very final stop sign. It is a non-negotiable boundary. There is no "I'll pay it off later." The money is physically gone. When you are at Target and you have a cart full of things, and you get to the checkout and realize your household and shopping envelope is empty, you have a very clear choice. You can't just swipe a card and worry about it later. You have to make the difficult, but character-building decision to put those items back. This creates a hard limit that is incredibly difficult for your brain to argue with, forcing you to become more creative and resourceful when a spending category runs dry for the month. The third reason this low-tech system is so smart is that it drastically simplifies your daily decision-making. With our modern digital money, we are constantly forced to do complex mental math. You're standing in a store, about to buy something, and a stream of questions runs through your head. Okay, I think I have about $1,200 in my checking account. But wait, did my car payment already come out? I think I spent about $50 yesterday on that online order. So, can I really afford this $75 purchase right now? This constant calculation is mentally exhausting. It's a source of decision fatigue. The cash envelope system eliminates all of that mental noise. The only question you ever have to ask yourself before you buy something is there money in the envelope for this? The answer is a simple, binary yes or no. You don't need to open an app. You don't need to log into your bank. You don't need a spreadsheet. You just look inside the envelope. This beautiful simplicity frees up your mental energy and reduces the anxiety associated with everyday spending decisions. So, we've established that the psychology behind this system is incredibly powerful. It works. But now we have to face reality. Let's talk about the 2025 problem. Let's honestly confront all the reasons why trying to use a pure cash system in our modern world can be difficult, frustrating, and sometimes downright impossible. The first and most obvious challenge is the entire world of online shopping. This is the Achilles heel of the classic cash system. You cannot put physical cash into your Amazon shopping cart. You cannot pay for your Netflix, Spotify, or your kid's online gaming subscription with a $20 bill. So much of our modern lives and our modern spending happens digitally, through websites and apps. For anyone who does any amount of online shopping, a pure cash-only system seems like a non-starter right from the beginning. The second challenge is about safety and convenience. While the pain of paying is a benefit, the logistics of using cash can be a real drawback. You have to make regular trips to the bank or an ATM to withdraw the cash you need, which can be a hassle in a busy schedule. More importantly, carrying large amounts of cash can feel unsafe. If you withdraw your entire month's budget in cash, you might feel like a target for theft. And if you accidentally lose an envelope, or it gets stolen, that money is gone forever. There is no fraud protection. There is no way to get it back. A debit or credit card, for all their faults, offers a level of security and convenience that cash simply cannot match. The third challenge is the rise of cashless businesses. This is a trend that is only accelerating more and more. We are seeing businesses that are going completely cashless and do not accept physical money at all. Many modern, trendy coffee shops, food truck festivals, concert venues, and even some automated parking meters are now card-only. Trying to use a cash-only system can be genuinely frustrating when you find yourself in a situation where your money is literally not accepted. And finally, the fourth challenge is that when you use only cash, you are losing out on the benefits of digital money, like tracking and rewards. When you use a debit or credit card, you get a perfect, itemized record of every single transaction you make. This data can be incredibly useful for understanding your habits. With cash, once the money is spent, it's gone, and it's up to you to remember where it went. Furthermore, if you are a responsible credit card user, you are giving up on earning valuable rewards, like 2% cashback or travel points, on all of your purchases. For some people, this can add up to hundreds of dollars a year. So, when you lay out all these challenges, it can seem like the cash envelope system is simply no longer viable. But that's not the whole story. The secret is not to abandon the system, but to adapt it. So how do we get the powerful psychological benefits of cash without all of these modern-day drawbacks? Let's talk about solutions. The first, simplest, and most popular solution is what I call the hybrid cash system. This is the perfect starting point for most people. The idea here is that you don't go 100% cash. That's too extreme and impractical. Instead, you strategically choose to use cash only for your 2 or 3 biggest problem spending categories. I want you to think about your own spending habits right now. Where are your biggest leaks? Where do you tend to mindlessly overspend? For a lot of people, the 2 biggest culprits are groceries and eating out. These are categories where small, impulsive decisions can add up to a huge amount of money. So, with the hybrid system, you would create cash envelopes just for those 2 categories. You would go to the bank and pull out your budgeted amount for groceries and restaurants. When you go to the grocery store, you pay with cash. When you go out to eat, you pay with cash. This forces you to be mindful in the areas where you need it most. But for everything else, you continue to use your debit or credit card. You pay for gas at the pump with your card. You pay your bills online with your card. You make your weekly Amazon purchase with your card. This approach targets your specific problem areas with the psychological pain of paying, while allowing you to maintain the convenience and security of digital payments for all the other parts of your life. It is the best of both worlds. But what if you love the idea of structure and boundaries, but you absolutely hate the idea of handling physical cash at all? Welcome to the future. It's time to talk about the digital envelope system. The principle here is exactly the same as the classic system, but the medium is completely different. Instead of using physical paper envelopes, you use multiple free online bank accounts to act as your digital buckets or envelopes. Here's how it works. You go to a modern online bank, some great options in the U.S. are Ally Bank, Capital 1360, or SoFi, and you open several different free savings accounts. These banks typically have no monthly fees and no minimum balance requirements. Then, you use the bank's feature to give each of these accounts a custom nickname. You are essentially creating your digital envelopes. You might have one account named Groceries, another named Fun Money, another named Shopping Fund. When you get paid, you set up automatic transfers that move your budgeted amount of money from your main checking account into each of these digital envelopes. So, $400 goes to Groceries, $150 goes to Fun Money, and so on. Now, when you go to the grocery store, you simply use the debit card that is linked to your Groceries account. If you want to see how much you have left to spend, you just open your banking app and look at the balance of that one specific account. When the balance of your Fun Money account hits zero, your fun is over for the month. This gives you the same hard, clear boundaries as the cash system, but it's all managed digitally. You can use your debit card online. You have fraud protection, and you have a perfect digital record of every transaction. For those who want to take this to the next level, there are also budgeting apps that are designed specifically around this philosophy. The two most popular are YNAB, which stands for You Need a Budget, and Good Budget. These apps function as virtual envelope systems. You don't have to open multiple bank accounts. Instead, you connect your main bank account to the app, and then you assign all of your income to different digital envelopes within the app itself. When you make a purchase with your credit or debit card, you log it in the app, and the app subtracts the amount from the correct virtual envelope. This is the most hands-on method, as it requires you to track your spending, but it also provides the most data and the most granular control. So, are you ready to give this a try? Here is a simple, practical guide on how to start your own envelope system this week. Step 1 is to identify your problem categories. You can't fix a leak if you don't know where it is. I want you to pull out your last month's bank or credit card statement. Grab a highlighter. Go through the list of transactions and look for the pattern. See, where did you consistently overspend? What are your 2 or 3 biggest spending leaks? Is it groceries? Is it eating out at restaurants? Is it those daily Target runs? Is it shopping on Amazon? Be brutally honest with yourself. This is where you are going to start. Step 2 is to choose your method. Now that you know your problem areas, I want you to decide which version of the envelope system you want to try. There is no right or wrong answer. It's about what you think will work best for your personality. Do you think you need the full psychological shock of the classic cash system to change your habits? Do you prefer the balance and flexibility of the hybrid system? Or do you want the modern convenience and tracking of the digital envelope system? Either with multiple bank accounts or an appy, just pick one to start with. Step 3 and 4 are to fund your envelopes. Next, you need to decide on your budget amounts for your next pay period. Look at your problem categories and set a realistic spending limit for each one. How much are you going to allocate to each of your new envelopes? Once you have your numbers, it's time to take action. If you're using cash, your next step is a trip to the bank or an ATM. Withdraw the total amount of cash you need for your envelopes. A pro tip: when you go to the bank teller, don't be afraid to ask for specific denominations, like 20s and 10s, to make it easier to stuff your envelopes accurately. If you're going digital, your next step is to log into your online bank. If you need to, open up one or two new free savings accounts and give them their new nicknames. Then, set up the automatic, recurring transfers that will move your budgeted amounts from your main account to your new digital envelopes on your next payday. So, after all of this, let's go back to our big question. Does the cash envelope system still work in 2025? The answer is a resounding, definitive yes, if you are willing to adapt it to your modern life. What we've learned today is that the core principle of this system is timeless and more relevant than ever. In a world that is designed to make you spend your money mindlessly and invisibly, the principle of consciously assigning a job to your money and creating hard, tangible spending limits is the key to taking back control. That principle is far more important than the medium you use to enforce it. It doesn't matter if your envelope is made of paper and sits in your purse, or if it's made of pixels and sits in your banking app. What matters is the intention and the boundary that it creates. This system is about bringing a sense of reality, a sense of tangibility, and a sense of intention back to your financial life. It's a powerful tool to fight back against the invisible forces that are constantly encouraging you to spend more than you have. It gives you back the control. So, I want to know, which method are you going to try first? Are you going to go with the classic cash? Are you intrigued by the hybrid system? Or are you ready to set up your digital envelopes? And more importantly, what is the number one spending category that you are going to put in an envelope to get it under control? Let me know in the comments below. If this video helped you see an old school method in a new, modern light, please give it a like and subscribe for more practical money tips for the modern world. Thank you so much for watching.